Howdy, hi. This is Dear Job Sports College Football Week 4 picks and predictions. We are looking at the best bets of the week. This is part 1 of 2. Let's get into the video. All right, first things first, got to recap Week 3 results. Pretty good week. We go 10-6, bringing our overall record to 32 wins, 24 losses. Giveaway fund, for the others of you who are new, we add $5 to the giveaway fund for every losing pick. We lost 6 picks, therefore we add $30. The total is now an even $120. I am very glad it ended on a 0 and not a 5, or else that would have been weird for the distribution part of it. The giveaway, it is today. Giveaway information at the end of this video. The results will be posted in the Week 5 video, so stay tuned. End of this video, you will find out how to enter. It is very simple. All right, I'm going to recap these games real quick, then we'll get on to the seven picks we have for next week. So our winners, firstly, it was Arizona State. We had them minus 13.5 at home in a bounce back spot. They played Texas State. It started off slow. First quarter score was 3-3. Then the Sun Devils bounced out. They win the game 34-15. Got a little bit greasy at the end. Texas State won the fourth quarter 6-0. But we cash as they win by 19. So shout out to Arizona State. They got her done. Next game, probably the play of the day. New Mexico, plus 14.5 against UCLA. You can forget the points. Toss them out the window. They won 35-10. 35-10. UCLA is now 0-3 on the season. The Imalava pickup is looking horrible. He didn't even play that bad, to be honest. 22 of 34, 217 yards, 1 TD, and 1 interception. After this loss, literally less than 10 hours, they fire their head coach. So UCLA no longer has their head coach. Meanwhile, New Mexico looks really good. 2-1 on the year. Jason Eck looks fantastic. You hung with Michigan. You lose by 17. You then beat Idaho State. You beat UCLA. They're going to be a player in the Mountain West. Watch out. New Mexico, the Lobos. Next game, we had Texas Tech minus 23.5. They get it done at home. I'm still surprised this line was this short, just based on how bad Oregon State has been this year. Oregon State might be one of the worst teams in the country. I mean, they are next level of bad. Final score here, 45-14. If memory serves, I think there was a weather delay for like 2 hours in this game. Gross. But all of Oregon State's points came in the final quarter. They didn't score any in the first 3 when they actually played Texas Tech starters. So shout out to Texas Tech getting it done. Next we had Ohio plus 31.5. This was a ball game up until the fourth quarter. This was a legitimate match. Halftime score was 13-3. There was a point in the third quarter where it was 13-9. Final score, however, 37-9, so it got a tad bit out of hand, but they cover. That's what great teams do. Great teams cover. Ohio is now 3-0 against the spread this year. We will not be taking them for their next game as they play Gardner-Webb at home. I do not think we're going to cover the number there, whatever it is. We will be backing Ohio week 5 when they play Bowling Green, so that is the first time we'll be taking them then. Next game, we had Utah minus 23.5 on the road at Wyoming. This one was close. I'm talking like real close. Final score, Utah 31, Wyoming 6. So they win by 25. Closing line says 24.5. I'm pretty sure I saw this touch 26 points at one point. But they get it done. The halftime score was 3-0. And then they unload to put 31 up on the board. Utah defense, very good. And apparently Wyoming's defense isn't half bad either. I mean, they only allowed 3 points in the first half. So that's not bad. We had East Carolina minus 7.5 on the road at Coastal. We have to have a conversation about how bad Coastal Carolina is at football. Because holy hell, are they bad. Final score of this game. East Carolina 38. Coastal 0. They did not score, not a single time, none. Their quarterback, Tad Hudson, 19 of 39, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. This team is disgusting. He also had 3 fumbles, all of which were lost. So he accounted for 5 turnovers against ECU. I think ECU is a good football team, but 38-0 at home you lose, that is ridiculously bad. I think we're going to have to be fading the Chanticleers the rest of the season. Part 2 of this video, I will be taking South Alabama 1-2 at home versus Coastal next week. Smash spot. Next game, we have the over 54.5, Akron at UAB. Probably one of the worst games of the days if you're just looking at actual teams, but it was kind of a banger. Final score, Akron 28, UAB 31. There were a ton of points in the first half. UAB put up 31 before halftime. They then scored 0 in the second half, not 1. I don't know how you do that, but they managed to do it. They had a kick return for a touchdown to start the game, so that was pretty sweet. And then after that, nothing else besides touchdown passes. Next game, we had Cal plus 2.5 at home against Minnesota. Minnesota's not a good football team. They beat the brakes off of Northwestern State, and they handled Buffalo, winning 23-10 week 1. But when they hit the road, PJ Fleck teams just aren't good on the road. Cal wins 27-14. Cal, are they going to be a player? Maybe, but one thing I do know, their freshman quarterback is a stud. 24 of 38, 3 passing touchdowns as a true freshman against a Big Ten Minnesota defense who is good. That is crazy. Next game, we had Kentucky, minus 23.5 at home against, I think they played Eastern Michigan, if I remember correctly. Yep, Eastern Michigan. They win by 25. This one was greasy as well. Final score, Kentucky 48, Eastern Michigan 23. What did this close at? Oh boy, this closed at 26.5. So if you didn't get this number early, you lost. That would suck. Especially because Eastern Michigan scored a touchdown with 58 seconds left in the game. So that's kind of brutal, but covers for me, so that is all I care about. Final winner we had 2 bets in this game. One won, one lost. It was the over. 58.5 was the winner. Georgia Southern, 41. Jacksonville State, 34. Talk about absolutely zero defense. This was this game. Both teams combined for over 800 yards, tons of first down. Third down efficiency was crazy. Jack State, 50%. Georgia Southern, 72% third down efficiency rating. That is ridiculous. That one goes way over the total. All right, now I'm going to go over the losers real quick, and we'll get on to the picks for next week. First loser, Wake Forest, plus 7.5 at home. This was Thursday night against NC State. Good Lord. They had a 24-17 halftime lead. 24-17. They lose the game 34-24. They don't score a single point in the second half. All they had to do was make a field goal in the second half and we cover. But they don't do that. Their quarterback, 21 of 35, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. You just can't be putting up a 0 spot in the second half of a game. It would also appear Wake Forest cannot run the football. They had 22 rushing attempts. They only managed 59 yards. That is egregious. So that is the first and probably the last time I will be taking Wake Forest this year. Next one, Duke. So Duke might be horrible at football. They are a basketball school. I know that. I fully knew that, taking them here. But come on, you give up 34 points on the road to Tulane. You go down 14-0 to start the game in the first. You try to come back at the end, and you only lose by a touchdown. But you just can't do this. I mean, what are we doing here giving up 34 to Tulane? Mensa had a fantastic game against his old team. Threw for 313, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. They just couldn't get a lick of anything on defense. I don't know what you're doing, Duke, but you got to sell the program. Put all your money in basketball. Bring Cooper Flagg back. Don't let him play basketball in the NBA. Bring him back on the team. You may be okay. Next game, we had the over 57.5. That was Arizona State, and that was Texas State. That did not hit. I think they scored like 49 points in that game. Hold on, I'm trying to scroll and find it. I currently can't scroll and find it. I know the over didn't hit. Oh, here it is. Yep, 49 points. Really didn't do much in the first quarter. That was the downfall. 3-3 first quarter. Total yards for both teams. Arizona State 433. Texas State 303. No interceptions. Texas State did have 3 fumbles, so that's kind of absurd. But the over was no good. So there's that. Then this is another one we're going to have to talk about. Kansas State. What is going on with your program? How are you losing on the road to Arizona? Now, the one thing that is slightly positive about this, I was unaware this was a non-conference game. Even though it was against another Big 12 school in Arizona, they scheduled this game prior to Arizona joining the Big 12. So, this does not go against them in their conference record, which is a big deal considering they would be 0-2 if that was the case. So I apologize for not letting you guys know that, but I was completely unaware that was the case. So they are still 0-1 in conference play, but they are 1-3 on the season now. They look horrible. Their offensive line can't block. Their coaches don't know how to call a play. Avery Johnson looks like trash. 13 of 29, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But I don't even know if I can blame him. His O-line can't block. He snaps the football, he drops back, and some dude's already in his pocket. Like, he can't do anything. Then they also can't run the ball because Dylan Edwards can't stay healthy. So they are cooked. Then we had UAB minus 11.5. I think I mentioned they scored 31 points in the first half and then 0 in the second half against Akron. How do you not score in an entire half against Akron? So it didn't make much sense. They win the game, but the second half of football, they did absolutely nothing. Then we had Jack State plus 3.5 on the road. I completely forgot who they played, and I just talked about that game, so that's kind of weird. Oh yeah, Georgia Southern. They gave up 41 points to Georgia Southern. Not ideal, but yeah, you can't let them go 7 of 11 on the third down, or you can't let them rush for 220 yards. So, not ideal. All right, that's the recap. Let's get on to the picks we got for this week. All right, first game here. It is a Thursday night game, so you're going to want to get this one early if you have not already. Rice on the road at Charlotte. I am shocked this line is only 5.5. I have watched 2 out of Charlotte's 3 football games. They are horrible. Rice, they don't look bad. They now run the triple option. I don't see how Charlotte is going to stop them. Rice 2-1 on the year. Week 1, they beat the Raging Cajuns 14-12. They beat Prairie View by 21, and then they lost to Houston 35-9. That is expected. Even when running the triple option, doesn't really work when you're going up against a team who is just huge up front like Houston is. Charlotte is not that team. Rice, their defense, just like their offense, very solid, only giving up 294 yards per game. They dominate the time of possession. Now that Rice does run the triple option, they are basically like a service academy. They get the ball. Every single drive is third down dependent. And if they do it, they go for it on fourth. And if they get the first, then they just run it again. They just chew up hella clock. They're very good. This Charlotte defense, not very good. The 49ers give up 450 yards per game. And Charlotte really hasn't even played anyone this year. So I don't think they're going to fare very well. Charlotte 1-2. Last week they barely beat an FCS school in Monmouth 42-35. How are you letting Monmouth come into your stadium and score 35 points? That means you have some serious problems defensively. When they play real FBS schools, they lost by 23 to App State. App State doesn't look that good this year. And then they lost 20-3 against North Carolina in Chapel Hill. That we all saw North Carolina week 1 get housed by TCU. They are also not good. So the fact you only scored 3 points against Chapel Hill leads me to believe there are some serious problems at this school. They have a new coach. Their team is completely new. Clearly they have not figured it out. Give me Rice minus 5.5. All right, next game we got, it is Big Ten time. Maryland on the road at Wisconsin. I think the wrong team is favored. This Wisconsin team, they have not looked good at the start of this season. Their main starting quarterback, Billy Edwards, listed as questionable for this game. Their backup, a sophomore, has 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions through 2.5 weeks. That is not very good. Maryland 3-0. They haven't really played anyone of strength, but they won every game by a wide margin. FAU week 1, 39-7. Northern Illinois week 2, 20-9. And then they just beat the piss out of Towson, who's an FCS school, 44-17. Slightly concerning. This is their true freshman quarterback's first road game of the year and first Big Ten game. So I don't really love that. But I do trust this Maryland coaching staff. They have a very solid offensive line. Their running back room is deep. They really shouldn't have to have him make too many big decisions. The big thing here for me is Maryland's defense. Their defense has already forced 8 turnovers this season. Granted, 5 of those came in that 39-7 win against FAU, but they're solid. They gave up 7 points, 9 points, and the most amount of points they gave up was to an FCS school when probably their starters were off the field and the other backup guys came in. So really, they're not giving up double-digit points to any starting group out there. Should be able to steal some possessions from a Wisconsin team who might have their backup quarterback. Wisconsin 2-1. They just lost to Bama on the road, 38-14. That score isn't really inducive, though, of what actually happened. One of their touchdowns was a kick return, and the other touchdown they got in the fourth quarter when Bama had their bench guys on. So really, they didn't do anything. They managed just 209 total yards of offense. Their defense gave up 382 passing yards. 382 just through the air. They only scored 17 points on Miami of Ohio, who looks atrocious. Without Edwards at the quarterback spot, I really don't think they're going to be able to move the ball. So I will take Maryland +7 and hope Wisconsin's quarterback doesn't play. Even if he does play, he's really not that good. So give me Maryland +7. All right, next game we just talked about Miami of Ohio, and we will be fading them here because they suck. Give me UNLV -3.5. Give me the over 50.5. Kind of weird. We're seeing this matchup week 4, but here we are, so I'm going to bet it. I think we're going to see a high-scoring game. UNLV's offense, very good behind their quarterback. Miami of Ohio, I have no read on. They have not looked good the first 2 games, despite having a quarterback who used to play for Toledo, who then transferred to Baylor, who they paid a lot of money for to come and play at Miami of Ohio, but he looks like ass. UNLV 3-0, they just beat UCLA at home. They are directly off of a bye week, so they're going to have plenty of time to prepare for this game. Their offense has been really good, scoring a minimum of 30 points per game, doing it through the air and on the ground. They do give up a decent amount of points on defense, so that is the main reason I'm taking the over, but they're really good at answering. They scored a ton against UCLA in the first half. Idaho State, they played really well. They're not bad. Miami of Ohio, they are bad. 0-2 on the year. They lost to Wisconsin, 17-0, and then Rutgers, 45-17. Their new quarterback, I talked about him. He started his career at Toledo. He then transferred to Baylor, where I think he might have played 1 or 2 games. And now he's at Miami of Ohio because they paid him a metric ton of money. He sucks. He has 0 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. The entire offense, every single position player, is new. They did not return a single guy on that side of the ball. Their defense is giving up 58% of third down conversions. That is horrible. I think this Miami of Ohio team is very, very bad. Give me UNLV. Give me the over. All right, this next game, ACC time. I think we can make this pretty quick because this video is already quite long. I'm going to take Clemson in a bounce back spot. They have had a very, very rough time this year, already losing to LSU at home and then Georgia Tech on the road. This is their final game before they have a bye week. They should be looking to beat the brakes off of Syracuse. Syracuse are 2-1. They just beat Colgate 66-24. I don't really think you can put any weight into that victory. Their defense, they suck. They gave up 444 yards per game, and they've played 2 bye games. They almost lost to UConn. They should have lost to UConn, but UConn lost themselves that game. Their defense is bad. Clemson's going to be pissed off. Give me Dabo Sweeney and the guys minus 17. I think they win this one by 30 plus. All right, so the final 3 games we're going to talk about are all Big Ten. So I am diving in. First one, I'm going to take Iowa minus 1.5 on the road at Rutgers. This one does kind of scare me, just based on how bad Gronowski has looked and this Iowa offense has looked in the first 3 weeks of the season. But this is Rutgers' first game playing a real opponent, and I do like this Iowa Hawkeyes defense. So I will take them, basically a money line pick. If you wanted to take the money line, it's currently minus 126, but I will take the minus 1.5 at minus 110. Hawkeyes 2-1 on the season. They beat 2 basically FCS schools, even though UMass is technically FBS, but we ain't going to talk about them because they suck. They beat Albany 30-47, UMass 47-7. Then their one loss came against Iowa State on the road, 16-13. Their defense, they're always solid, always one of the best in the country. They allow just 180 yards per game. Now that is slightly skewed because they played Albany and UMass, but they're still holding them, so there it is. Their main problem, as it always is with the Kirk Ferentz team, offense. Their star transfer quarterback, who has 2 FCS national championships, has thrown the ball for 44, 83, and 179 yards. Now, that is in that order, so he has basically doubled his throwing yards every single game. So if we're going to keep that trend going, this dude is about to have a monster fucking game at Rutgers. They're going to need him to if they want to win. Rutgers 3-0, but they've played 2 MAC schools and then an FCS. They barely beat Ohio week 1. They won by 3 points. Mind you, they also had a punt return blocked for a touchdown, so that was fraudulent. They beat Miami of Ohio by 28. They might be one of the worst teams in the MAC. And then they beat Norfolk State by a bajillion, who I think Mike Vick is the coach of. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. They do have a stout defense, but again, they haven't really played anyone. So am I going to trust them against another Big Ten offense? I don't know. These 2 squads have only played 4 times in the history of college football. Iowa has won every single time. They are 4-0. I think they are about to be 5-0. All right, next game. We can make this one pretty quick too. Big Ten, Illinois on the road at Indiana. I'm going to take the over 52.5. Illinois, they have actually played a few football teams. Indiana has played absolutely nobody because Signetti thought it'd be a good idea to schedule some of the worst goddamn teams in the country so he could boost his stats and try to make the playoffs again. It worked, as they're sitting at 3-0, blowing out every team they've played besides Old Dominion, but now I think they're going to struggle week 1 against a very good Illinois team. Illinois 3-0, they have scored 52 against Western Illinois, 45 against Duke, 38 against Western Michigan, so they have no problem scoring. They have veteran QB Luke Altmaier, 5th-year senior, 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and those are against 2 legitimate schools in Western Michigan and Duke. So it's not like he's doing it against Indiana State like the Hoosiers have been. This man is actually balling against real football teams. They average 405 yards a game. That's both on the ground and through the air. And they average 45 points a game. Indiana, they're 3-0. They've played ODU, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State. So you can throw all of that out the window. Their quarterback, Mendoza, transfer from Cal, really accurate. He's a junior. He's also huge. He's like 6'6". 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Again, I'm not sure how much weight you can put into that because they've played against a bunch of like 6'1" dudes who really probably shouldn't be playing at this level. But here we are. Indiana, they're well coached. They have a good offense. They should score. Give me the over, 52.5. I think this is too low. All right, then we got the final game and the giveaway info. So first, we'll do the final game. Give me Nebraska at home +3. Making them a dog at home against a true freshman quarterback is beyond disrespectful. Michigan has played 1 road game at a lit environment in Oklahoma. They lost. Bryce Underwood went 9 of 24. I don't think the Hoosiers are Oklahoma level good on defense, but I mean, they can definitely control him. Bryce went 9 of 24. That is ass. Michigan 2-1. They beat New Mexico by 17. That win is slowly looking better and better. New Mexico might actually be good. They lost to Oklahoma by 11, and then they beat Central Michigan by 60. You can throw away the 2 bye games against New Mexico and Central Michigan. They looked bad against Oklahoma. 288 yards of offense. Their defense gave up 410. They are also without their head coach, Sharon Moore. He is suspended. This is his final game this season for the suspension because they cheated. These no-good cheating bastards. Nebraska 3-0. They beat Cincinnati week 1 on the road, 20-17. Although, if I'm recalling correctly, that was a neutral site game, so it wasn't a real road win. But it wasn't at home, so take that for how you will. Then they beat the absolute piss out of Akron and Houston Baptist. I think they won by a combined score of like 128-7. I mean, they just beat the tar off of them. Year 2 of the Patrick Mahomes impersonator, Dylan Raiola. He looks really good, but again, it's against 2 schools who aren't real schools, and then Cincinnati at a neutral. I like Matt Rule as coach. I think this Nebraska's program heading in the right direction. They retained a lot of their guys from the previous year. They all believe in their quarterback. I think their defense is good. Nebraska home games are always lit. Those Cornhuskers do work. Give me Nebraska +3. I think them being a dog here is ridiculous. All right, then we're going to go through the giveaway info. It is very easy, as all giveaway on my channels are. There will be 3 $40 winners. If you remember to the earlier part in the video, we have $120 in the giveaway fund. So that just makes it real easy. 3 winners, $40. This is all you have to do to enter. 1, be subscribed to the channel. 2, like the video. 3, comment something down below. It can be anything. You can talk about your dog. You can talk about your ex-wife. You can do whatever you want. Just comment. You also have to have Venmo. Venmo is how I will pay you. So, quite easy. You can have Venmo. Your friend can have Venmo. Whatever. But that is just the easiest for me, as I made the business Venmo account to do simply that. So 3 winners, $40. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment something down below. You will be entered, and I will announce the winner in the Week 5 Picks and Predictions video. All right, that's going to do it for me in this video. I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.